Oh my god, I swallowed the teeth. Oh god, I swallowed the teeth. Morbius, the film of this century. The first movie to make $1 trillion. 214% on Rotten Tomatoes. Could there be a better movie to ever come out? Yes, because that is what meme culture is doing to Morbius right now, because it is a terrible movie. I'm sure all those jokes will be old by the time I upload this video, and they'll be even older when somebody rewatches this in a year and they're like, what the hell is Morbius sweep? Good old Morbius is sitting at a 16% critic Rotten Tomatoes score. If you're not a mathematician, I'll just let you know, that's bad. That's really bad. It's got an audience score of 71, but it's also impossible to decipher whether this is a joke or not because of all the Morbius memes. I think we're all getting into some comic book fatigue. You know, even if you care about comic books and comic book movies, there's just so much out right now that you can't possibly enjoy it all. And Morbius is a Marvel movie. It is not made by Disney or in the MCU, but Sony, the ones who made these Marvel movies, made this one as well. So it's in the Spider-Man universe, one of them, I guess. There's like a bunch now, but not this Spider-Man. And if you're not in the comic or movie world, you're probably thinking, did we need a comic book vampire? And on top of that, did we need it to be Jared Leto? And the answer is no. Nobody asked for Morbius. And now that it happened, aside from the meme, nobody's asking for more BS. But I haven't seen the movie yet. Everyone's saying it's bad, but I can't believe what everyone says because I'm me. I know better than everyone else. So I had a wild idea. What if people are missing the point with Morbius? What if people are just going to the movie once, seeing the movie, not understanding it, and judging it prematurely? What if I saw Morbius 5 times in a row over the course of 5 days? Maybe then it would open my third IBS. That sounds like third IBS. And for me to do that, I gotta get IBS 1 and 2. Didn't even know they made a sequel. But, and hold on before you leave comments, there's 2 big glaring problems with me going to see Morbius 5 times in a row. 1, Jared Leto is a creep. If you don't know, Google it. He doesn't seem like a good guy at all, and I don't want to support a movie he's in with my money. And 2, without seeing the movie, I'm just gonna take a wild guess that maybe I don't want them to make Morbius. So then I thought of a morally gray plan. Recently, I saw the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I loved it, and I love the directors, and I love everyone in the cast. It's such a victory movie. I love everything about it. So the plan is to go to the movie theater for the next 5 days, buy a ticket to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then sneak into Morbius just so people don't think I actually want to see Morbius. Why am I doing this? I don't know. I thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd just be a funny, stupid idea. So that's the plan. That's what I'm gonna do. Morbius starts in just 50 minutes. So I gotta make my way to the movie theater. And just like that, I was off to start my Morbius journey. And I was a little bit nervous because I worked at a movie theater when I was 19, and it's not like I would get in any real trouble for walking into Morbius even though I didn't buy a ticket, but they could definitely kick me out for it, and I just wouldn't be able to live with the embarrassment of getting kicked out for sneaking into Morbius alone. So I scanned my ticket for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and to throw them off my trail, I went to the concession stand to get a water. The water was $5.69, but I remembered that I'm a member with this movie theater company and I get discounts, so I asked him to ring it up again. He did, and it was the same price. It was very embarrassing. I added like 20 seconds to the interaction. It was completely pointless. At this point, the movie was in just 1 minute, so I needed to do a quick and efficient pit stop in the bathroom first. And as I walked down the movie theater hallway, I passed movie after movie that I would rather be seeing. But there it was, at the end of the hall in between 2 magnificent pillars, Morbius. I'll see you guys on the other side. Morbius. That is a movie that I saw. No matter what they say, Morbius is a movie that you can go see. Okay, so Morbius was, surprise, not a good movie on the first viewing. So I have to see this 4 more times. I'm going to wait to talk about it more until tomorrow because there's too much Morbius for one day and it's going to be a lot, even more. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it is day 2 of Morbius watch. I think yesterday I was really hyped up on the idea that I was doing this video. It's really hitting me that I'm going to have to sit through Morbius 4 more times. All right, let's go. And just like that, we are back on the Morbius journey, walking straight to the theater. Or for my Brits out there, the cinema. Now, like I said before, it's pretty easy to walk into Morbius as long as it's in the hallway along with the other movie I'm seeing. My problem this time was when I scanned for Everything Everywhere All at Once, the greeter turned and pointed to this theater right next to where he's sitting and was like, your movie is right there. So I wasn't planning on buying a water, but to have him not see me walk past the theater he just pointed out, I had to go buy another water for $5.69. This time I didn't ask to scan for my discount because I knew it wouldn't help. But then the employee asked me, so she scanned it up and we just watched the price be the same again. And I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. But then it was time to find my movie. And as I walked down the theater hallway, still, much like yesterday in between 2 magnificent pillars, there it was, Morbius. I'll see you on the other side again. Okay, so big surprise, I didn't like Morbius the second time. So we open with epic music revealing a giant M that slowly zooms out to reveal the word Morbius, which I don't know if my brain is broken, but I just feel that Morbius is maybe the funniest word I've ever heard in my life. His name is Michael Morbius. I'm just gonna give you a second to drink that in. There's a scene in the beginning where he is like on an expedition and captures some bats, but it doesn't really matter that much. They cut to 25 years earlier. Michael Morbius is in Greece in some kind of children's hospital, and he's introduced to his new friend, Lucian. Morbius immediately calls Lucian Milo because his old friend seemed to be Milo, and then when Milo either died or left, there was another kid that came in, and he names that kid Milo. And every time a kid cycles out, he names the kid that name? What a fucked up thing to do. You're already a kid with a horrible illness, and you don't even get to keep your name because this other kid in the hospital is like, you're my pet. You're my best friend that I keep pretending is the same person. The fact that Milo and Morbius have a disease is a central plot point, but they never once say what the disease is. I wrote down how young Michael Morbius describes it. Michael says that something in their DNA is missing, like a piece of the puzzle. So the only way for them to live is to get an oil change 3 times a day, which is getting, I believe, a blood transfusion. But they never say what the disease is. I looked up Morbius disease, and the thing that came up was pseudo-vampirism, which just means a fake vampire. So then we cut to the future, and Morbius is receiving, I believe, the Nobel Peace Prize or something like that, because he invented artificial blood. It's like blue blood in an IV bag that apparently has saved more lives than penicillin, which means he's a very accomplished scientist, and he has a lab in a hospital that is completely his own. We are then introduced to his partner, Martine, who seems to be an accomplished scientist as well, but I'll just let you know, she doesn't get to do anything cool in the movie or have anything at all other than being like Morbius's sidekick. But she visits Morbius in the lab and is like, hey, there's some weird experiments going on in this lab. I know you well. It's revealed that Morbius, Michael Morbius, is keeping a glass tube full of bats in his lab in the hospital. Why, you might ask? Because he believes combining human DNA and vampire bat DNA will cure his disease. So he makes a serum to do just that. So what does Morbius do after he assumes he's made this breakthrough? He visits Milo, his friend from when he was a child, who also has the disease. And here's the twist. Milo, as an adult, grows up to be Doctor Who. He tells Milo that he has figured it out, and it's very dangerous and very illegal, so he needs to do it in international waters. So Morbius and Martine seemingly, rent a cargo ship out in international waters to do the experiment. They do it, and oh no, he becomes a vampire monster. Morbius breaks out and starts killing them because he's a vampire monster. Martine, he doesn't want to kill. She gets knocked out, but he doesn't just kill these hired guns. He 360 no scopes, cranking 90s, makes a show out of killing these people. He is bouncing off the walls. At one point, he zooms past the guy, slashes him in the face, leaves him. The guy is standing there in pain, then bounces super speed back and kills him right after. So I counted, I believe, and I'll need to check this next time, he kills 8 people. He also drinks their blood, so when he comes to and isn't the monster anymore, there you go, his disease is cured. He's not skinny Jared Leto anymore. He's buff Jared Leto now. By the way, how is he 50? There has to be some weird magic, some dark magic going on with Jared Leto. It just doesn't, he's 50 years old. This doesn't make sense to me. The movie came out on April 1st, and it is now April 22nd, which means showings are becoming limited. I have 3 more viewings, including tonight, and there's only 1 show per day for the next 3 days. So the only showing tonight was at 10:35. I used to be able to choose when I was gonna go see Morbius, and now it's like Morbius is in control. Like Morbius is sucking the life out of me like he would suck blood. Sorry, it's just a shadow. I thought it was Morbius for a second. And just like that, I was back on my Morbius journey. Luckily for me, my friend Jarvis was coming with me. I may have forgotten to mention the whole plan and just showed him the Everything Everywhere All at Once tickets, but I'm sure it's not a problem. I mean, who wouldn't want to go see Morbius? All right, say Morbius.
I thought we were watching.
But you know, it was a Friday night. We decided to have a couple of drinks just to have some fun. And there was a bar at the theater, so we grabbed our 2 drinks for a cool $55. Then a quick pit stop in the bathroom. And there it was in the middle of the hallway. Morbius. I will see you on the other side. Listen, I will just talk to you after the movie, okay? You know that fake Einstein quote? What is it? It's, the definition of insanity is watching Morbius again and again and expecting different results. I think I'm going insane. So, where were we? Morbius is hot now. Okay, so Morbius is hot. He sees all the bodies on the floor that he has just killed, looks at the security footage, and is so overwhelmed by the horror that he throws up. And that's about the last time he really cares about killing 8 people. So he calls in help from the Coast Guard to the boat, jumps off, and I'm assuming swims 13 nautical miles to the shore. After that, Morbius goes back to his lab, and it's the classic scene we've seen in superhero movies where he's like examining his powers. But the one crucial piece of information is that he doesn't want to drink red blood because it turns him into the vampire monster. So he drinks his artificial blood that he also has in his lab, which lasts him about 6 hours. But he notices that the clock is starting to count down. It's starting to last 5 hours, then 4 hours. So as he's struggling with that, Doctor Who comes to visit him. And one detail I forgot to mention because I genuinely didn't notice it on the first viewing. Milo is unexplainably rich. They must have cut a scene. He is so wealthy, and they mention in passing twice that he funds everything Morbius does. So he's like, you cured our disease. Morbius is like, rawr, I'm a vampire monster. This thing is a curse. You don't want this. And Milo does not like this. He demands to become a Morbius monster. And this is where the writing fails, because spoilers, he's gonna become a vampire, but he ends up stealing a vial off screen to become a vampire. When they could have written that Milo is funding Morbius's stuff, he could have just been like, hey, I don't care if you don't want me to take this vial. I own all the property here. Don't forget who funds you. But no, he has to, I guess, somehow palm it and swipe it away. We don't see it, and he's not even close to the vial once he wants it and knows what it is. Anyways, Morbius is in the hospital, and they do this horror scene where a nurse gets killed, but they don't show the vampire. So you're like, immediately, oh, it's Milo. He just said he wanted to be one, and they would show Morbius if they wanted us to know it was Morbius. Morbius sees the dead body in the hallway, tries to get away, runs into the FBI, and once he's caught, uses his vampire powers to leap up 20 flights of stairs. He gets to the roof, runs to the edge, and I will give Morbius this. Some of the CGI is cringe with the vampire faces and everything, but the rest of the CGI for the vampire powers is actually really cool. They have like weird wave air effects that he's like catching drafts like a bat would see, and he almost flies off the edge but catches himself. It has been about 10 seconds since he leaped up the stairs, and by the way, the FBI agent is Tyrese, is immediately up there with a gun. He climbed 20 flights of stairs in less than 10 seconds. So Morbius goes to prison. There's a really just absolutely cringe scene where he's getting interrogated, and every joke falls flat. I have now been to 3 showings and nobody has made a sound. He says the line, "I'm getting hungry and you don't want to see me when I'm hungry." Fuck you. Milo then visits him in prison and leaves a sack of blood behind and the cane he walked in on behind as well as he leaves. Morbius realizes, oh no, he can walk and he gave me real blood. He must be a vampire now. His whole moral thing is that he doesn't want to drink real blood, and he needs to break out of prison to go stop Milo. So he drinks the bag of real blood, punches the wall, and jumps out and chases him down. So Morbius has now had real blood twice in the movie. He catches Milo, and Milo is instantly just bad guy. He's like, we're the next evolution. Screw all of these people for not having a disease. I resent them for it, so I'm gonna start murdering them. And then they fight for a while. Milo kills like, I think maybe 6 people during the fight, but Morbius refuses to fight Milo even though he's murdering people in front of his eyes. So as Milo is slow motion running at him, apparently Morbius can perceive time faster than the other vampire who's sucking more blood and should be more powerful. Morbius catches the draft of the subway train and then right in front of the train lifts off and is flying away from Milo. And then the movie cools down. It gets super boring for a long time. I'm not going to tell you every detail. We're really going to summarize Morbius faster than that. What does Morbius need to do? He needs to make a new poison that will kill Milo and maybe him. Like I said, Milo killed a nurse in the hospital, and Morbius mentions that he worked with her for 7 years and she had children. And when he thinks it could be him, he's really not that broken up about it. At this point, Morbius has killed more people than Milo. So he should kill Milo and also take himself out. Listen, okay, he's killing people, but he needs to make the poison. So he overhears 2 people in a diner using counterfeit money, and they say, come on, we got to go back to the lab. He follows them to a printing press lab they have for counterfeit money. And I mean, they're committing crimes, but not like violent crimes. And to get them out of there, Jared Leto tries to do some fun, like Spider-Man banter. It all falls flat. He takes the leader of the group's hand and shatters it like 6 times. And after they run away, he turns printing press equipment into lab equipment that can make a vampire poison. Meanwhile, Martine is trying to get something from their lab. Milo is out on the town. He tries to hit on some girl at a bar, and because she has a boyfriend, it's reason enough for him to wait outside and kill the boyfriend and his friends. Finally, Milo's reached a point where he's done as much bad as Morbius has. And then after Martine just kind of like helps him for a while, they stand on a rooftop and they kiss. And as that's happening, they cut to a shot of Milo across the building watching them make out, and I cannot read the emotion on his face. I can't tell if he's aroused, I can't tell if he's jealous or hates both of them. Two things I do know are the big fight is coming, and he is Doctor Who. Okay, it is day 4. I am wearing a hat and I'm going to take my glasses off. Not that I think that the employees are paying attention, but I've seen a couple of them multiple times. And if I get caught on the second to last or last day sneaking into Morbius, the embarrassment if somebody went, "Hey, you that guy who's been here every day? Have you been sneaking into Morbius every time you got a ticket to this movie?" They're not paying attention, okay? But I just have to make sure. Also, there's like a lot of people seeing Morbius tonight. Who are these people? I should interview them mid-movie, just stick a mic in their face. Why are you here? But I guess my reason is more embarrassing than anyone else's. Okay, for day 4, I forgot to respond to some of the friends who were willing to go with me, so I had to go alone. So I was off again on my Morbius journey. And because my planning was so poor, I had to rush on the walk to the theater, and I got really sweaty and hot and thirsty. So this one's on me, but I had to buy another water. And there, in the same spot that it was before, Morbius. I'll be honest, guys, I sat down to watch this one and was like, okay, this is the second to last. Maybe I'll enjoy it because I'm almost done. Then the first 2 minutes played, and it dawned on me. Oh God, I have every scene memorized. Nothing can surprise me on this rewatch. I am stuck here, and I know everything that's gonna happen. It was miserable. But during that experience, it felt like something inside me changed. When I walked outside, I was welcomed by the darkness of night. Seeing all of these people walking around and shopping with their mortal lives. They don't understand me. They don't understand the type of person who would see Morbius 4 days in a row. I could feel it in my soul. I was evolving. Whew. I'm gonna wear the cape. I just feel more comfortable in it. I don't even know how to explain it. Oh, that one was brutal. Oh my God, one left. So what is there to say? One, I forgot to mention in my last recording that before Milo goes out on the town, he has the most cursed dance scene I've ever seen in a movie. I would describe it as the Spider-Man 3 dance scene, but if he was alone in a bathroom and was trying to be sexier and was a vampire. Does that make sense? So the FBI looks at security footage of Milo, getting rid of that girl's boyfriend for simply dating her. They've been referring to Morbius as the Doctor, so there's a moment where they see Matt Smith's face on the security camera and Tyrese says, "That's not the Doctor." And I mean, so there's a father figure that I barely mentioned because he doesn't really matter. Milo kills him. Morbius goes to him, and before he can really say anything to him, the guy goes, "You have to stop." You ever die so fast you moan your last word? And the ending moves at super speed. As Morbius is holding this dying man in his arms, he immediately hears through his sonar hearing that Milo has captured Martine, his new girlfriend, which again, Martine is an accomplished scientist, could have made the poison while Morbius was doing vampire things, but they couldn't even give that to her. Morbius then hears Milo put his thumb right here. She starts dying, so Morbius flies through the city to her, gets to her, and all she can really say is, "Plant one right here, bad boy. Make it count. Suck me good one last time." So Morbius drinks her blood, and Milo is standing there clapping, and he says to Morbius, "Drank the red. Good for you." This is the 3rd time that Morbius has drank the red. It's not new, Milo. So they have a big CGI, Marvel type fight. And Milo's whole philosophy is that he wants to show Michael who he truly is, who he can be with this next evolution of human society. And the way he shows that every time is by violently attacking Michael. So there's CGI fighting going through buildings. They crash through the ground into some big CGI sewage area, and Morbius lands on a pipe above the ground by his knees and hangs like a bat. So Milo's on the ground going, "Come on, Michael, I know you can do better than that." And Michael just squeals so loud that sonar moves throughout the tunnels and then falls to the ground. Oh no, is he dead? The only way to save the day is if thousands of bats immediately flood the sewage tunnels and lift Morbius off the ground. This is what happens. Then Morbius notices that they're moving to his hands. So he starts like Aang the Avatar, bat bending and pushing bats at Milo, and he's getting hit by bats, and he's pushing, and Milo's getting hit by bats. Morbius walks through the bat swarm and hits him with the poison, and Milo dies. And no joke, I timed it. Morbius with the bats flies out of the hole in the ground. It shows Martine wake up as a vampire, cuts back to Morbius flying with the bats, zooms in on his face, and then goes Morbius. The time between the life leaving the villain's eyes and the end credits is, no joke, 1 minute, 35 seconds and 56 milliseconds. That is how supersonic speed this movie ends. And I get to see it one more time. I don't want to see it again, dude. Finally, the last walk of my Morbius journey. Even though I had spent quite a bit, I was with my friend Jim and I got a popcorn and a water because I was celebrating. There, glorious, for the last time in the same spot in the hallway as the last 2 times. Morbius at 10:35 on a Sunday. To many, that would sound miserable, but it was music to my ears. And it was such a fun watch. I knew every scene that happened was the last time I would ever see this movie again. But as we were watching, I kept getting distracted. Morbius had changed something inside of me, and I realized that it wasn't a gift, it was a curse. And before I knew it, the movie was over. So what could I say about this journey that I went on, this Morbius marathon? It was nice to get out of the house, every day, but it also wasn't nice sitting through 9 whole hours of Morbius in one work week. But I know that Morbius has changed my brain chemistry. I feel different. I feel like I have evolved, and I have Morbius to thank for that. I'm lying, okay? That was a lie. I didn't learn anything.